So you want to buy a motorcycle. Let's discuss buying a motorcycle, new versus used, because let's be honest, buying a motorcycle is probably one of the worst financial decisions that you can make if you don't know what you're doing and the benefits of buying used versus new. So let's discuss that, shall we? Now, I have impulsively bought an '07 GSXR 600 that I kind of overpaid a little bit on, and that's okay, because when it comes to used bikes like this, they're not going to tell you everything that's wrong with it. Yeah, go figure. Buying new, however, you don't have to worry about half the problems. However, you got to fork up money, especially with all the dealer add-ons and whatnot that they like to do. And frankly, as someone who used to sell cars and work in the dealership industry for dang near almost 2 decades, I've done it all, heard it all, seen it all, and what have you. So we're going to discuss those differences between the two and why, in my opinion, if you are not mechanically inclined, just buy new. I know you're probably going to lay it down, or so they say, but just buy new. You get the warranty, which is kind of nice to have, obviously, if you have a Kawasaki. But yeah, so I would probably recommend buying new if you're not mechanically inclined. If you're mechanically inclined, even if you haven't worked on bikes like me, I come from the automotive industry where I've worked on cars, I've done engine swaps, I've done transmission swaps, I've done kind of all of that type of stuff. I also rode dirt bikes and I've done top end rebuilds on my CR85 and whatnot. So I'm pretty familiar, but not to this, inline 4 type of stuff. All right, so let's get into the pros of the used bike market. 1, it's a lower upfront cost. Who would have known? Lower upfront cost when you buy something used. That's something that we can all agree on. However, if you're like me and you bought sight unseen and didn't write it first, don't make that mistake. I'm telling you right now, I made the mistake. I paid, take a wild guess, put it in the comments what you think I paid for this '07 GSXR 600 with 21,000 on it. $7,100. Yep, $7,100 freaking $100. You might say that that's a lot. And in hindsight, it kind of is. Mine obviously looked good when I bought it, but I've had both bearings fly off at different speeds that were the speed limit. So we won't discuss that. Don't ask me. I mean, it looked good it was a 10-footer when I first came up and saw it. I was like, dang, this thing is sick. It looked super good in the photos. Don't let the photos fool you, though, because that's what happened to me. I let the photos fool me with having the new, especially this colorway, which is the 2018 only GSXR 1000. I thought it looked great. Got the M4 exhaust, got other little things, but there was a bunch of hidden stuff kind of underneath it. But you got the lower upfront cost, which is good. That's always a plus sign. Saving money. There's no break-in anxiety, so you don't have to worry about breaking it in for 100, 500 miles, anything like that. So thankfully, you can kind of already do that. And kind of one of the bigger ones, insurance is definitely cheaper. I think I pay $120 for mine after doing the MSF course. So, but now let's talk about the cons, shall we? And this list probably a little bit bigger because I'm actively living the cons aspect of it. It needed a clutch, which I would have known immediately if I would have wrote it, but whatever. So I needed a clutch, it needed a stator, and the rectifier. I relocated the rectifier because they're usually right here for GSXRs. I relocated it to inside of the air box. But it needed, probably the clutch was about $300. The stator was another, I think, $250, and then I had to buy this beautiful Woodcraft. I was kind of forced into it just because of the when this went haywire, it ended up eating itself, and the cover that it came with from the previous owner, which is things are the things that you don't know, but you need to know, but you don't know if you don't know. The stator cover that it came with, when I looked up the part number, it was a $32 Amazon special. Yep, my guess is the previous owner laid her down, because if you look, this is a tank cover. Tank's all scratched and dented. And you don't know the history of a bike all the time. Like if you see a bike that has aftermarket fairings or just fairings in general, stay away. Just stay away because it's likely been down. And who knows how it was put back together. Obviously, mine was not put back together. It was missing the speed. I think they're called speed nuts that connect it somewhere right around here. Oh, right here. So it was missing that here, missing that here. This bolt was all missing, so the belly pan flew off. That's why you see all of these zip ties. I have 20 zip ties holding everything. It's 2 on each. So 10 technical spots, but 20 altogether. And, you don't know until you know. So just because it looks good and the deal might be too good to be true. And mine wasn't even too good to be true, honestly. I obviously overpaid because I dropped like another $1,000 into it. And now I got to drop another $8,000 to $1,000 for fairings. And I believe these are Moto parts. I would probably stay away from them. First off, the fitment's not that great. Secondly, I don't know. I just wouldn't get it. That's kind of a con. You don't know. So why I quotationed the mileage? Because the title said it had 24,000 on it. The gauge cluster says 21,000. Now, I don't know if that's because he did something, mistyped it, or got a new gauge cluster. I don't know. And I wish I would have looked into it a little bit further. I genuinely wish I would have got a different bike. Probably would have started with 1,000, but that's a video for another time. Something else that needs to be discussed is there's really no safety net for this. There's no warranty safety there. You have no one but to blame but yourself for buying kind of a POS. Not that this is technically a POS, like it has a bunch of parts on it that would have done, obviously the grips, the stainless steel lines and kind of all that stuff. It's got Woodcraft rear sets, which by the way, were misaligned. This one was all the way up and this one was all the way down. I don't know how you mess that up when you're doing it, but anyways, that's, yeah. Like I said, if you're not mechanically inclined, buy a new bike. You don't want to deal with other people's problems. It's kind of an ongoing thing in the car culture as well. You don't ever want to buy someone else's project, which I didn't live by. So I'm reaping those, not even benefits. I'm just living it, unfortunately. Now let's talk new bikes and the pros and cons of getting a new bike. You got warranty, baby. That's sick. You got brand new, no miles, 0 miles, 2 miles, whatever the case may be. You got no miles. You get to put all the miles on it. So that's pretty sick. And you don't got to worry about wrong mileage, which unfortunately hurts resale value, so I'll never make the money back on this, but whatever. It is what it is. But like I said, you got your warranty, which is peace of mind. You don't have to worry about no mechanical problems. Kawasaki. You don't got to worry about no mechanical problems, and you can just ride it and be safe. You got all of the new tech, which in some cases, depending on what type of person you are, having the new tech, so the ABS, traction control, and kind of all of that stuff is nice. I don't obviously care about having all of that type of stuff because I would just turn it all off anyways, and this bike didn't come with it. So, but you do get all of the latest tech. So if you are new and you need the latest tech, or you feel like you want the latest tech, go ahead, get it. It's kind of a beneficial thing to have. My idea, if I had to do it all again, probably would have looked for still probably a used bike, but definitely something that was just stock, or even like an exhaust and whatnot on it. That would have been okay. But when it comes to aesthetics, definitely stay away from bikes that have been aesthetically modified, especially, like I said, aftermarket variants, because you have no reason why, and you don't know about the previous owner's abuse. So, and you might be like, if you get a new bike, you might be a little scared to drop it. And that's okay. That's okay, because that kind of happens. So, you know, the cost value of buying used versus new, you know, I'm probably 8,100 into this bike. Realistically, probably could have bought like a GSXR or a GSXR600 or something for a couple $1,000s more and not have to worry about any of this type of stuff. But then you got to add on to the cost of the gear and whatnot, which is also a pretty penny depending on what you get. Yeah, just that's kind of my thoughts on what you should do. I would recommend, like I said, my final thoughts, buy new. That would honestly be my thoughts. Unless you're mechanically inclined, I would say buy new and have fun with it. And if you drop it, you drop it. It just is what it is. That's what insurance is for. If you really don't like the scratches on your bike or anything, that's fine. Just go that route. And we're here. We're gonna discuss a little bit about buying used versus new. Now, if I could do it all again, what would I do? I would probably pick a different bike, if I'm being 100% honest here. Mainly because don't let impulsivity choose your bike. That is the downside of being unmedicated ADHD, is you get impulsive. Ooh, a 4Runner. Ooh, look, a butterfly. Damn, that's a clean-ass third gen. Yeah, don't let impulsivity choose your bike. Be thorough. Make sure the biggest thing, if you want to buy used, that you are mechanically inclined. I cannot stress that enough. Because if you don't know how to work on a bike and you buy a used bike, and God forbid it needs something, which it will, and it would be wise to do all of the maintenance anyways under your ownership. That way you know that's done. At least that's how I am. Like, even though I bought this bike used, I did all the maintenance on it, with or without it needing it. I just wish I didn't. I wasn't forced into it, because I was very much forced into doing the maintenance on this thing. So I would recommend riding the bike, obviously being the most important thing. Going through all of the gears, making sure everything is copacetic with it. Make sure the fairings don't fly off at highway speed. yeah. Look at that. I left a mark, mommy. Said, if you're gonna buy used, make sure stock fairings. If it has some aftermarket parts, that's fine. It's not really bad if it has some sort of mods to it, like an exhaust, air filter, all that type of stuff. I mean, honestly, like this being like 18 years old, of course that's gonna happen, right? Like that's just gonna happen. It's 18 years old, things are gonna fall apart. That's why I said I did all of the maintenance regardless. I bought oil, even though he said he did an oil change. I bought oil, I bought coolant, and then I just did it because I knew I was gonna do it, as well as spark plugs and whatnot. But you just don't know the abuse, man. You really don't know the abuse, and like, it's just kind of annoying when you come across stuff that wasn't done jankly or wasn't done correctly, like the fairings aren't done correctly. I don't know if he lost the key thing, but the key thing's missing. This is loud as shit because I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any of the isolators in it. This isn't done and broken right there. Obviously these weren't mounted correctly. Obviously the clutch was bad. These are no-name levers, and this shit like is jiggly, even though that's a new bolt that I put in it, and it's still wiggly. Gauge cluster's not working right now, which, I mean, that's a harness thing. Again, that's just from the wiring harness rubbing up against like the stem and whatnot. So that's gonna happen as well. Is it worth it? Some instances, I mean, think about it. I am less than a new bike, so that's kind of cool. I would have just like, and that's just my experience, right? My experience is I feel a little jaded because of some of the issues that I'm dealing with, and it just seems like it's one after another. So I don't know, make your own decision as far as what you want to do. But like I said, the most important thing, if you are not mechanically inclined, do not buy used. You know, in some instances, I would say if you're buying like a used 2021, like R3, R7, something like that, yeah, you're probably okay. Just pay attention to the sight glass. If the oil looks new, probably good. Go ride it, test the clutch. Get on it in the upper gear or the upper RPMs and make sure it's not slipping under heavy load like mine did. Make sure the mileage is correct, and then kind of just ride it and make sure you fit on it well, and like that's kind of your style and that what you want to own. Do your research. Research. Whatever chassis you want to buy, go join Facebook groups or forums that are for that chassis. So like I wanted a Triumph, so I joined a Triumph group. I wanted a GSXR 750, so I just joined a bunch of GSXR groups just to like learn about them and whatnot. And that's how I've been able to be educated as far as what to look out for. That's kind of my experience. I'm sure everyone's experience is a little bit different. If you're gonna buy new versus used, you tell me what you did. If you're in here and you already have a bike, did you buy new or used? What was your experience like if you bought used? New sucks in the aspect if you're spending a lot of money, right? Kind of afraid to drop it, but I appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, comment below and let me know what your history was. If you bought a bike, new, used, kind of what was the situation, what was wrong with it, would you do it again? And if you're looking to buy a bike, let me know. What are you trying to buy? What are you looking at? You know, and pricing is a big thing. You'll pay what you want to pay. Again, I paid $7,100 for this. That's probably $2,000 more than I should have, especially after knowing everything in hindsight. I wish I would have paid $5,000, but it is what it is. It got me on a bike. Luckily, I know how to work on bikes I understand puzzles, so I can kind of do everything on my own. It did come with some parts, like it came with the stainless steel lines and whatnot, so we're cool about that. But I think that's pretty much going to do it for me, guys. I just go and do a ride home and then get ready and call it good. So much love to everyone out there who is actually watching, listening, participating, engaging. I appreciate that. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. We're getting closer and closer to actually being monetized. I need 1,000 subs to be monetized and 4,000 watch hours. I'm at like 740 something subs and like 1,600 watch hours. So at this rate, maybe I'll be monetized by like March. That's ideal. So again, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, vents that you want to do, and I mean by venting, let me know. Put it down below, and we'll chat, and we'll have a chat. What kind of videos do you guys want to see? Do you guys like these types of vloggy videos where I'm talking nonstop because I don't know how to shut up because I'm unmedicated ADHD, or do you like kind of some of the ASMR stuff that I do? I kind of like doing the ASMR stuff because I don't need to talk for everything. I don't feel like it's absolutely necessary to always talk, but I also do enjoy talking to myself and having some of you goons listen to what I have to say. So for the third and fourth or fifth or sixth, seventh time, I'm out. Peace, love, unity, respect, and responsibility. Catch you on the flip side.